Hello witchy friends, Drew here, and today I'm going to show my grimoire. This is my grimoire. I made this all by hand, every inch of it. I will put a link in the description to the video that taught me how to make this for anyone who's interested. I also made one for my husband. It was a Yule present last year. The alchemical symbols for the elements, because he's the alchemist. His is just full of blank parchment at the moment. I will be filling his for him when I'm done with mine, because he doesn't really have the time, and while he will greatly appreciate it and use it, I don't think that he would take the time to make it himself. So fortunately, some of the pages from mine will be able to just be duplicated in his, although we are on different paths and we do work with different things and have different practices, so a lot of the things in my book will not transfer, and I'll have to make up new pages for him in his book. But it's definitely a work in progress. I have been working on my grimoire since, well, the actual making of it was probably in October, November of last year, but the pages themselves I've been working on since January. I just started this grimoire because I was tired of this. My little Cutopia I drew. But this is a book full of stuff that I reference from time to time. All kinds of stuff in here, reference material. As is this, full of reference material. Like this is like where I used to keep my sabbats and my old table of planetary hours, all kinds of stuff. And I just also have all these reference books everywhere. Just wanted it all in one place. A book just for me, a book that makes sense for my path and that I understand and that caters to my needs. Now, originally I wanted to write everything out by hand and have it be lovely in my hand. And I can write really nicely, but I have to take so much time to do so. And I can draw, but again, I have to take a long time to do it, to be satisfied with it. And I can't draw every day. Some days I draw well and others I don't. I don't know what that's about. But the little bit of artistic talent I have when it comes to drawing kind of comes and goes. And so I started writing and doing it all by hand, and honestly, I wasn't happy with it at all. So I just said, you know what? I'm 40 years old. I wear glasses to read. My eyesight is not going to get any better. I really need my grimoire to be functional and beautiful. So I decided to just print it. I'm just doing everything on the computer, and I'm actually really happy with it. So, you know, it's fine. This is my sigil that I made out of polymer clay on the cover, and let's open up and look. The original idea was to put my sigil here, but I kind of like the way it looks blank, so I don't think I'm going to, since it's on the cover anyway. This is just sort of affirmations, witchy affirmations, if you will. And then when we get into the meat of it, To Be a Witch by Casey Sayer Bacus, I believe is how you pronounce that. I'm not 100% on that, but it's like my favorite witchy poem, so I put it in here. And this is an excerpt from my dear soul sister who named me. She wrote poetry, painted, all kinds of things, very artistic and creative. And this is an excerpt from one of her poems. Over here, this is just sort of like a book blessing, I guess. It's essentially what I do when I call the quarters during ritual. So I kind of did that as a blessing and protective element for my Book of Shadows. And these are just magical terms that I might care to have defined. Just several definitions. We move into the Theban alphabet and the witch's sigil wheel and the runes. Sacred symbols. So this is just like symbols that are, this section is just symbols that are sacred to me. So, you know, here are the zodiac and the planets. And then down here I wrote down the positive and negative characteristics of each zodiac sign. And then also the influence it carries over a moon when the moon falls under that sign in any month. Then, you know, just different sacred symbols that are sacred to me in my practice that I work with or that are important to me in some way. Then witchy symbols, witchy shorthand, if you will. Here we have the color correspondences and daily astrological influence. So what planet rules the day, and then what that means, what energy that brings, influence it carries. And then daily tides. So for instance, the morning is awakening, new beginnings, fertility, and life direction. And dusk and twilight is change and receptiveness and parenting and moving between the worlds. And late night is occult learning, increasing knowledge, wisdom, enlightenment, creativity. Just the different times of day, what kind of energy influence that carries. And then my little note about working from the half hour to the hour to build, and from the hour to the half hour to decrease. And then we have my planetary hours chart, because we know I love the planetary hours. And over here is a more in-depth outline of the planets and their influences. We have the moon phases, including blue and she. Over here, of course, are the aspects and what energy is carried by them, and the names that I assign to them, the ones that resonate for me. We'll move into the wheel of the year. Now, I don't resonate with all of the Sabbats. 6 of them resonate, 4 of them definitely resonate. And this is just some very brief information about the Sabbats and some of their correspondences. I work with a lot of magical ingredients, from all the stones I work with, all the herbs I work with, and then these sort of oddities, trees, flowers, all that good stuff. So sometimes when I go to do a working, I want to just be able to look at a general topic such as love or luck or intuition. So that's what this is. So I have everything from absorbing magic all the way down to, wishes. Different things that I typically will go to. So, you know, there's aura cleansing, and there's banishing, and there's change, and there's communication, and defensive magic, and divination, and earth magic, and energy amp, and friendship, and grounding, and healing, and love. And at any rate, let's look at love, because it's got so many. So for love, everything in black here at the beginning is all herb, and then we move into red for resin, and then orange is for the like fruit and veg kind of thing, fruits that I use. Green is trees. Purple is an oddity, cat's claw, or like menstrual blood if it worked, or you know what went with the correspondence I was looking at. And then blue is stones, and then back to black for metals. This way I can quickly, if I want to do a love spell, look and see what I want to work with. Like I said, there's manifestation, money, psychic awareness, purification, spirit contact, success, underworld, water magic, wishes. But then we have Drew's herbs, and these are all the herbs that I personally work with, although I've already added some new ones to the fold that I'll have to put in here, but it's always going to be growing and changing. I'm nowhere near done with this at all. So all the herbs I work with and their properties, if I want to just look at a specific herb and what its property is quickly. And of course, if I want to go more in depth, I can just look online or look in some of my books. So next we have bath safe herbs, because I do want to know that if I'm going to use an herb in a bath salt or something of that nature, that it is safe for such things. Herbal substitutions. So if I'm out of something, I can quickly look. And then of course the note that rosemary can pretty much be substituted for anything. The fruits that I work with are on this page, and the oddities. So like blood, cotton, crossroad dirt, poppy seeds, snake skin, salt, things that aren't necessarily herbs. Over here are my resins. I forgot to put copal in for some reason, so I'm going to have to add that in somewhere along the way. all the powders I work with, so benzoin, cinnamon, echinacea, ginger, Arabic gum, lemon balm, sulfur, terracotta dust, white sandalwood, yambi bark, so on and so forth. Here are the trees that I work with. Drew's Magical Kitchen. These are all my recipes. Now, some of these recipes are for product that I sell in my shop, and others are just recipes that I use. And again, I've already developed more recipes that need to come and go into the book at some point. But so we have my altar charms and my anointing oils and my Esphit candles and my intention candles that I don't sell at all anymore. My load kits, my candle loads that I make, my other oils. These are oils that I don't sell. My anointing oils are the oils I sell. These are my personal oils. Powders that I work with, my Sabbath candles, bath salts. I love this picture. I don't know if y'all are going to be able to. It's a little mermaid in a bottle. It's so cute. I love that doing this on the computer, I can set it up exactly as I want, and then I can pick images and put them wherever I want on the page, and they're really pretty, like this little beehive here, so cute. So then we have my sea wand recipe and my 100% beeswax candles. Then we move into the elements. So for the elements, I talk about the type of energy associated with the element. I talk about the associations themselves, the correspondences, what that element governs, and then workings that you can do with it. So, of course, earth energy is receptive, and it governs stone magic, tree magic, and knot magic. And then on the back, I have different kinds of dirt and their correspondences, and different kinds of sand and their correspondences. For air, again, all the same things. The associations are yellow, east, morning, sunrise, spring, childhood, the mind, consciousness, and breath. And then on the back, I have feather magic, the correspondence for different kinds of feathers, and then different inks. For fire, workings that can be done with fire are burning, smoldering, heating, candle, sun, and fire. And then on the back, different kinds of candle magic. So like cat-shaped candles, dragon-shaped candle, figure candle, glass, pillar, taper and votive, snake shape, skull shape, owl shape, and the correspondences that go with those. And then ash, a little blurb about working with ashes in magic. And water, the correspondences being purification, love, emotions, change, absorption, germination, pleasure, relationships, fertility, happiness, healing, sleep, dreams, psychic ability, and renewal. And then on the back, I have seashell magic, the shells I work with, and then different types of water that you can work with, from mist to rain to sea to waterfall, whatever, and their correspondences. Then it's chain magic, my little blurb about chain magic, and the metals and their correspondences, the ones that I work with. And then crystals. Now, I just did a video, so y'all are aware that I have a great many crystals. To put all of my crystals in my grimoire might be damn near impossible, and the thought of it is so daunting, I just don't even. So what I've done is just some general information that is important to me, or that resonates with me when it comes to crystals. So it's different ways to work with crystals here. You can, through just having them in your environment, having them on your body, meditating, dream work, astral travel, using them to charge other things, and spellcraft. And then talk about linking crystals, and then the kind of care that we should show for our crystals. Next is crystal grids, a little blurb about what a crystal grid is and why it's important, and then just, the main grids that I personally work with in my practice. A blurb about orgonite. I love orgonite. I'm going to do a video on it because there is superior and inferior orgonite. My husband and I are actually going to be making our own and selling it in our shop eventually. We're taking steps to doing that. But there really is a right way to make it and a wrong way. That it may still work, but it's definitely an inferior product. So I've got all that information here. Sacred geometry. Drew loves sacred geometry. So basically everything that I taught in my video that I did about sacred geometry is also in here. Then we have a blurb about the violet flame and platinum ray, because to me they kind of go hand in hand. A blurb about Reiki, and then platinum Reiki, which is going to be in my next 2018 YouTube Pagan Challenge video, so I'm not going to get into what that is yet. Then a blurb about Sith and Kundalini, which leads us into the chakras. Some very basic information about each of the chakras, essentially what I'm doing in my little chakra series video. A blurb about negative and positive energy, because if you've watched my channel or you know me, you know that it's my magical witchy pet peeve. Actually, not even, it's my energetic pet peeve when people describe negative energy as a bad thing, like that person has negative energy. Or when speaking about energy, I firmly believe that energy is harmonious to us or disharmonious to us. It is not negative or positive in the way that a mood or an event or a relationship can be negative or positive. Negative is a thing. It is, feminine and receptive and goddess and inner energy. And positive, of course, is active, projective, sun, masculine, God, outer energy. So I have a blurb in here about it because it is my pet peeve. Next, we move to gods and goddesses, and this is the last section in my book at the moment. I have more done in the computer ready to print out, but because they are front and back pages, they have to be set up a certain way so that the gap is correct on both sides. And so I need to know what order I'm printing them out in. I can't just print them willy-nilly. So even though I have other pages done, they're not next. So they're just sitting in the computer until I get the pages that are going to come next in the book done and printed out. But yes, these are some of the gods and goddesses that I personally work with. So Kuan Yin, Green Man, the Morgan, Hanuman, Gaia, Ra, Karnanos, Lakshmi, I call him Teotet, but Thoth, Mother Mary, and Ganesha. And it's just a little bit of basic information about them. I just, again, if someone asks me, and I have it here, it's easier for me. Like my son wanted to know about the Green Man one night, so I grabbed my book and I read what I had written here about the Green Man, so he had a better understanding of what it was. So that's part of the reason that I've put them in here this way, but really it's more just kind of to honor them in my relationship with them. Yeah, there's lots more to come, so I'll be doing update videos at some point showing the progress of my grimoire, but I'm really very happy with it. And so I wanted to share and to kind of show you that just like with everything else, your grimoire doesn't have to be a carbon copy of someone else's. Make it your own and do what works for you and what's best for you and brings you joy and makes you happy. Now you will notice that there was no places for me to write in my grimoire, like write spell work or things of that nature. I have separate books for those. This is just reference. My grimoire is just reference and knowledge and a place for me to go to quickly grab information that is useful to me daily in my path. Whereas like my spells or my tarot readings or anything like that, I keep in separate books. Anyway, that's my baby. Thanks for watching, and as always, until next time, much love and gratitude.